Hi, my name is Tim van Rooyen from improveyourarchery.com, and today I would like to talk about anchor points and how you can basically find an anchor point and how you can improve it. And I will discuss 4 different anchor points in this video. I will show them how they work and what you should think about, and I will show them across the 3 different disciplines, so traditional, recurve and compound archery. And you will see that there is basically a lot of overlap, but you have to find out what gear you want to use and then choose your anchor point. And maybe you have to switch between gear because you can't find an anchor point with this device, but you can do it with another device. So we will discuss that in a lot more detail. So let's get right to it. In most cases, traditional archers anchor on their cheek because they want the arrow to be as close to their eyes as possible, because you want to aim along the arrow and use that to basically align your bow with the target. And therefore the arrow should of course be close to your eyes, and therefore you have to be on your cheek. You can be below your chin. Well, you can of course, but it will make it more difficult. So most traditional archers anchor on their cheek somewhere. There are multiple ways of doing it. You can use either your cheekbone, that is this bone which you can feel with your index finger and draw till you find that point, or you can use one of your fingers and feel to the corner of your mouth. But that mainly depends on what you find easier and what helps you to stay consistent. Well, let's draw and then we will see. So you can use your cheekbone. Now I'm on my cheekbone, or you can use your finger, but for me that's really uncomfortable for some reason. Well, for other archers I see they use it with great effect, because one of the advantages of having such a reference point is when you have no reference point, like your bone or your corner of your mouth. It could be that you are one time you are like here and the other time you're here, and then that messes up your shot because that makes a big difference on the paper. So that's how you find your anchor point for a traditional bow. Let's move to the recurve bow. With a recurve bow you normally use this kind of tab, like with the base plate and a pinky hook or whatever. But you do that because you anchor below the cheek instead of on your cheek, or below your chin I should say. And you do that because you basically want the arrow away from your face, because you are aiming with your sight instead of the arrow. And if you aim on your cheek, you will see that a bit of your field of view is obstructed. And you don't want that when you shoot with the sight, because you're not aiming with the arrow anyway. So then it's better to get your hand away from your face and have as clear field of view as possible. And therefore you use your tab and place it below your jaw. And what I like to do is, when you have your tab, you see the groove between your fingers. That's right here. I hope you can see it. You can use this groove and align that with your jawbone, because your jawbone is like a bit circular, and then you can put your tab in there, and then you really feel that it's in place. And that makes sure that you are consistent and that you're not one time here and one time here. And because again, you have to be consistent. But another thing you have to consider is that you don't place it one time more in front and the other time more in the back. Therefore it's good to have like a second anchor point on your nose or on the corner of your mouth or whatever. So let's draw. Then you can see what it looks like. Alright, last but not least, the compound bow. On a compound bow you normally use a release with the D-loop like this, but some archers don't really like to use a release. In general I would advise to always use a release on a compound bow, but some people really don't like it and want to shoot with a compound bow. And then you can use either a tap or like this tap from a recurve bow. But in general, it's not really advisable. There are a few drawbacks of using not using a release, especially on a compound bow. And I've listed those reasons in an article I made. So if you want to know more about it, I really recommend reading the article. It's in the description of this video. And well, basically, when you want to shoot with a release, what happens is that your draw, you tend to overdraw a bit because you want the string to be as far as with a traditional bow or a recurve bow, but because your hand is farther away, because the release is between you and the string, you have to overdraw a bit, and I will demonstrate it real quick. And what you can also see is that most compound archers actually use a device that is called a kisser. In this case it's just a wire, but some use a rubber piece, and that is aligned with the corner of your mouth. And I will show that now. As you can see, I aligned this piece with the corner of my mouth, because right here I don't really have an anchor point, because you can't anchor in mid-air. Therefore, using a kisser is really useful when you shoot with a compound bow, and also with the thumb release. And let's switch to the thumb release right now, and then I will show you how you shoot with the thumb release, because you can shoot, of course, with the wrist release, but also with the thumb release. And with the thumb release, something strange happens. So let's switch to the thumb release. Right, the thumb release. With the thumb release, what you basically do is you don't anchor like this, which you do with traditional archery or recurve archery. You hold your hand like this. But with a thumb release, you turn it upside down. And you might wonder, why would you turn it upside down? Because you can, of course, also pull like this. But that has a lot of drawbacks, and I will discuss them right now. First of all, you can hit your cheek and then you misfire the bow, because when you pull, of course, on the release, on the trigger, it fires. So there is a large chance that you will hit your face and then it will fire. But when you turn it around, that is not going to happen, because, of course, the release is on the other side. Your trigger is on the other side. So that is one case. And also, it's really uncomfortable. I actually tried it when I started compound archery, because I was wondering, why would you turn your hand like that? And then I noticed I was hitting my face, I was hitting everything, and then I turn it around because the back of your hand is soft. That was a lot more comfortable. So that's why you turn your hand around, and you are actually using different muscles. So when you are switching from the wrist release we discussed right here, and you switch to this, you will notice you are actually using different muscles, so it might feel really heavy. So let's draw. And again, I'm placing my thumb right here, because normally you would place it here, not on the draw, but when you are firing, because I don't want to dry fire my bow, of course. So let's see how that looks. As you can see, I'm still using the kisser and placing it in the corner of my mouth. And I'm also hitting my ear with my pinky finger. And that really gives me, when I'm shooting a compound bow, because currently I am using this device, gives me a clear anchor point to know that I'm hitting my ear and I have the kisser in the corner of my mouth. So that really helps me. Consistency is key, and that helps me. So maybe it also helps you. I hope this video was helpful to improve your anchor point and to find the right anchor point for your bow and the gear you are using. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you would like to read more archery articles on how to improve your archery, I'm mainly focusing now on compound archery and recurve archery. You can find the link in the description to my website, and I have a lot of articles about these two types of archery, so I really recommend to take a look. And well, see you in the next video.